All right, right now, the flooding disaster in Texas, obviously the big weather story. But in the past week, other parts of the country have been hit with major flooding events, which includes even New Mexico and Texas, as well as Boston and even North Carolina from leftover tropical systems. To talk more about what may be fueling the extreme storms is Dr. Craig Ramseyer, a hydroclimatology expert at Virginia Tech. First of all, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me for this very important discussion.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. Obviously, as of late, we've been talking a lot about flooding, and especially in the wake of several high profile and prolific flooding, including some of those shocking stories we've been sharing out of Texas, where the rate of rise of the Guadalupe River, I mean, a half year's worth of rain fell in just one day. I think I saw it was a 30-foot rise in just 4 hours, a new record level. And then also in the Ruidoso River over in New Mexico, a 20-foot rise in just 30 minutes. So just to get us started, are we talking about something that is atypical? Is this something that's it's more impactful lately that we're seeing more often? Or is this something that is new to us as of late?
It's a great question. I think we have to think about flooding as something that's obviously always happened, but we liken this to things like when baseball had some of their best home run hitters on steroids. They were great at hitting home runs, but when you added a little extra juice, right, they were even better at home runs. And now what we're seeing is flash flooding occurring that has a little bit more energy in the atmosphere to produce higher rainfall rates, and unfortunately leading to flash flooding like we haven't observed.
Yeah, because we look back, I mean, obviously we have tropical systems. North Carolina had some flooding because they had some leftover moisture from Chantal. But this storm in Texas, a non-tropical system. So the atmosphere, is it just more juiced up? Is there just more moisture to tap into, leading to these more prolific flood events?
Yeah, that's certainly a big part of it is more moisture, slightly more energy. We like to think about moisture as an energy source in our field. And so, yeah, we have more energy, we have more moisture available. And so when you get something like we saw in Texas, which was basically a mesoscale convective vortex, kind of a fancy word for what was a decaying tropical system, but yeah, had more energy available to it and just produced unbelievable rainfall rates. Unlike anything they have seen. And when you talk to the people on the ground, they'll tell you that we had no idea this was possible.
Yeah, we feel like you continue to see some of these events, or they're 100-year events or 1,000-year events. If you don't live near a river, sometimes it's hard to think about flooding, but we know that flooding can impact urban areas just as well as it can impact rural areas. So how do we better communicate to folks at home to be aware, even if you're not right next to a body of water, that when we issue these flood watches, flood alerts, emergency flood warnings, that they need to be taken seriously?
Yeah, that's absolutely a great question. I think the communication piece is, someplace our climate science community has put a lot of research money into is trying to better communicate threat. And certainly with flash flooding, there's very few communities that we could say is immune to flash flooding across the United States. And so even in urban areas, if something as simple as a storm drain gets blocked and you get these really intense rainfall rates that we've been seeing for the last decade, you can get water in your home. So having a plan in place, even if you do not think that you will ever experience a flash flood, understanding where higher ground may be is an incredibly important, simple thing that you can do to protect yourself and your family. Even again, if you think you have a stream in your yard, that could be a much more serious situation in these high rainfall rate scenarios. And so again, just having some understanding of where higher ground is near you and having an exit strategy could save your life.
And I think the key here, too, just really quickly, is this, that the force that these carry. I sometimes hear people say, oh, I'm a great swimmer, even if there was a little bit of a flood. No, the force of the water, A, and B, all the debris that's caught up in it. I mean, even if you're a swimmer, you don't stand a chance in a flash flood situation.
Yeah, I mean, Texas kind of highlighted that, right? We have some reports that some emergency personnel lost their lives in that, and they were trained in swiftwater rescue, and they still were not a strong enough river. I mean, the amount of debris, the amount of water, and the trauma that your body can endure in those types of conditions, it really doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are once that amount of debris is in the water.
Dr. Ramseyer from Virginia Tech, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here today on this very important topic.